get warm. You can't, you're freezing. You consistently try to get dry, and by the time you fall back asleep, you're having another night sweat. And I knew I had to do something because I worked for a law enforcement division which looked at me as a public eye, and I obviously didn't look like the kind of person that should be walking in a uniform at 127 pounds. So I finally said to myself, I've got to do something. I started it. I went off all medications. I went cold turkey. It was a very tough decision, but it was either that or nothing at all, because I obviously wasn't progressing and getting healthier. I discarded all medication, started on a 2-week regimen with a blend of multiple herbs, and drank lots of juices, and basically eliminated a few things from my diet that I shouldn't have been taking at the time. As soon as I went off all medications and started the herbal nutrition program, those symptoms resided, and I was grateful, and I thank God every day for it. I looked at every corner that I could possibly look at. I could never find anything that I could say that could pretty much work effectively if you gave it 100%. And when I found the silver pulsar, which was recommended to me by a Chinese acupuncturist and out of Indianapolis, I realized right then, I said, you know, she's an AIDS specialist. She specialized in HIV/AIDS for over 10 years, and she dedicates her life to it. And she tells me, Dan, you really should try this. And I said, well, you know, what have I got to lose? But I can tell you, if it were me, and I had it to do over again, you can darn well bet the first thing that I would be doing, I'd get on the silver pulsar, I'd eliminate this virus like it should be done in the first place, get it out of the system. I did use the magnetic pulsar. And obviously that does need to be utilized as well. And I attribute the magnetic pulsar probably mostly to my hepatitis, inactive hepatitis, because in other words, I had to get down to the organs, and the magnetic pulsar is what does that. But I attribute most of this success, and I contribute also the inactive HIV due to the use of the colloidal silver and the silver pulsar. Yes, indeed, it does work. I'm healthy and I feel good, and I do a lot of hiking outdoors. And I'll tell you what, I can pass a lot of my buddies up and down these hills like they have never known. I can be at the top of a mountain, and this is the hunting season right now, and I like to hunt. And so I can walk up to the top of a mountain, I can look down, and they're still breathing hard, and I'm not even panting a breath. That shows immune system strength, that shows durability and endurance. And yes, being healthy is a large part of knocking any type of virus out. And I'll be drinking colloidal silver till I'm 80, I hope. And I'll also be doing the pulsar for maintenance the rest of my life. I can guarantee it.
Okay, so we're looking at a sample of blood that has been analyzed based on live blood analysis. By looking at the sample, we can tell a lot about a person's health or their level of wellness. What we're seeing in this sample is a poorly regulated, or shall we say dysregulated sample of blood, or put it simply, a very unhealthy individual. The way we recognize the status of the person's health in this blood is by observing the blood cells, and some of the things that we observe in this particular sample are red blood cells that have a very spiky appearance. We also see the blood cells tending to clump and stick together. We're also seeing blood cells here which have a very uneven membrane. This particular part of the sample reveals a very large object, quite a bit bigger than the red blood cells. It's not a white blood cell, it's actually what's referred to as a protoplasm, and again reveals that this person's health is very poor, requiring some intervention of some kind. Here we see white blood cells. In this part of the sample we see something referred to as Philippe formations, another indicator of a